You know what? Make some noise if you've pooped your quackage as a human, as an adult. How about that? Yeah? You guys are being shy because studies say 1 in every 3 grown adults has pooped their quackage as an adult. So let's have a little fun here, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3. One of you 3, shit your quackage. 1, 2, he's laughing hard, it was him. 1, 2, 3. One of you 3, shit your quackage. He's like, yeah, it's me, man, and it's you too. I remember that story. Oh yeah, it was your wedding day. Hey, sure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We could do this all day. Quackage is the funniest word in the Portuguese language, right? Come on, let's all say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. That's right, guys. Somebody's shitting their quackage tonight. Might be this dude right here. I hope they're not white. But the thing about pooping your quackage is most of the times you can get away with it, right? Unless you have a Portuguese mother who writes your first and last name on everything you own. Your lunch pail, your binder, your jacket, all the way down to your quackage. On the tag, first and last name. Now, as a kid growing up, that wasn't troublesome. Because as a kid, you're not leaving your quackage anywhere. Like, most of the time, if you are, it's at home, somewhere on the ground. As an adult, right, as a grown man, you might leave your quackage in a couple of places, you know what I mean? But I have a story about a time where that went wrong. Really seriously wrong. I was a 4th grader, old enough to know not to shit your quackage. And I was at school, and we'd had a lot of cold veerd that week. A lot of cold veerd. Do you guys like cold veerd? Right? It's like the funnest soup to eat because you're eating and then you find a piece of linguiça, right? Right? You're like, oh, linguiça. Oh, tem duas. Oh. It's like finding a prize in a Cracker Jack box. But I had a lot of cold veerd that week, guys. And I'm in class. And I'm taking a test. And I'm having that test, and all of a sudden, my stomach makes a weird sound. A little Jurassic Park sound. I get a little sense of sound. And I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa. You know how you try to like go, oh. You do this like this is like a medical thing. Right, you keep going. 5 minutes later. It goes that second. When it goes to the second though, it's like, whoa, okay, whoa. I go up, I tell the teacher. He's like, nice try, Taylor, go back to your seat. I go, okay, I go back to my seat. A little while later, here comes that senseless sound again, man. And I go, you know what? I'm gonna try to do that thing everybody tries to do. I'm gonna try to fart it out. I'm gonna try to fart it out, right? I'm taking a test, I need these grades. He doesn't want to work with me, I'm gonna fart it out. You try to squeeze it out where it makes that same sound a dolphin makes, right? It's like, right? Like when you take a balloon and you go like this. It's like, all of a sudden though, it's like, and then something happens. Something happens. I don't know how many of you guys had beef honest tonight, I'm gonna spare you the details. Something happens, I go, oh. You always question, am I this freaking dumb? I get up, I think he knew by the way I walked to him like this. You ever seen this thing? I walk to him like that and I go, I need to go to the bathroom now. He's like, go. I run out of that class, I run to the bathroom, I do this thing, right? Like this matters now, right? This doesn't matter now. What are you doing? I get to the bathroom and I do that thing that everybody who's crapped their pants has done in their life. First of all, you look around, make sure nobody's in there. Then you take off your pants to see if the cocoche went from your quackage to your pants. There's a lady up here who's crapped her pants 10 times. She can't stop laughing. Good God. So you do that thing where you're in the bathroom, you look, right? I'm pulling down my quackage. It's a moment of pride. I look back and I realize the cocoche didn't go through the quackage to the jeans. I'm like, oh my God. I take off my quackage, right? I Steph Curry the quackage into the garbage can, right? Just quackage in the can. I put paper towels over the quackage. I limp up my coo. I take a look, right? Everybody, come on, don't lie. Everybody takes a look. It's clean. Toss it. Pull up my jeans, go back to class. Everything is great. Until the next day, right? I get to school the next day, and I get a note while I'm in class. Now, if you're Portuguese or Azorean and you live in the Bay Area, when you get in trouble, you don't go down to the principal's office. No, no, no. Most times, the janitors are Portuguese. You don't go down to principal. These guys, you get called down to the janitor's office, right? And I'm like, oh no, not João, please, not João. I'm like, what have I done? I get called down there, right? I go into this guy's office. I walk in. It's the most Portuguese office ever. Benfica scarf on the wall, right? Any Benfiquistas? Sporting. Port. I'm sorry. Oh, and the girl who shat her cuecas too? I know why you've been shitting your cuecas. You go in there, Benfica scarf on the wall, you look at the desk, a bunch of pencils that look like they've been sharpened by a knife, right? Definitely a Portuguese guy. I sit down. He comes in, he sits across from me, right? He looks at me, he looks a little weird, he looks upset, he looks at me. And then he puts a brown bag on top of the table in front of us. A brown grocery bag, Safeway. And he looks at me, he crosses his legs. Now we're at school, guys, we're in elementary school. He pulls out a cigarette, right? It's the most Portuguese man in the world right here. Puts it up, lights it. I found your cuecas, Taylor. I'm like, what, João? What? And he goes, I found your cuecas. And I go, no, 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 no. He reaches for the bag. He opens the bag. He pulls out a pair of freshly washed, folded cuecas. He puts them on the table in front of us. They're my cuecas. His wife washed them. She knows my mom. She washed them. And he looks at me, he turns the cuecas, flips the tag, and he says, I never knew a man who put another man's name on his cuecas. These cuecas, esas cuecas son tuas. It's okay, shit happens. Merda acontece, Taylor. I'm not gonna say nothing. Olha, hey, from this moment forward, olha, oh, hey. Eu nunca mais diz nada. And I'm like, yeah, because Portuguese people are great at keeping secrets. And he's like, hey, I don't say nothing, okay? Never again? Hey, olha, take a little bit of this Queixo George home to your father, tell him I said hello. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm leaving here with freshly washed cuecas and Queixo George? I gotta shit my cuecas more often, right? I leave there, I go home. Well, here's the thing, man. For the next couple of years, I'm at that school still. He'll see me, he'll look at me and go, hey, Taylor, hey, hey, hey. He grabs his cuecas, she's like, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh. Don't say nothing, huh? He'd almost give up your secret every time he sees you in public. I don't say nothing. I'm like, oh my God. Well, finally, I leave that school, but he gets promoted to the high school. So I'm there at the high school, João is still there. Every time I see him, he's like, hey, hey, Taylor, hey, Amarante, hey, oh. Shh. I don't say nothing. My classmates were like, hey man, you better tell your parents, that guy's a pedophile, man. He's grabbing his underwear and he's pointing at you like, shh, what's up, man? All my white friends are like, what's going on, dude? Guy's like trying to marry you, bro. I'm like, no, man. He's like, you should tell your parents. I'm like, dude, they probably already know. Like, so finally, graduation day in high school comes, man. I'm up on stage. Da, 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 da. I'm grabbing my diploma. I grab it. There's my whole family cheering me on. I'm like, yeah. In the back corner, leaning against the wall with a mop in his hand, João. And he's like, hey, oh, hey, oh. Huh? Nunca esquece. Never forget, huh? Boa sorte. I'm like, you know what? So I look at him, I'm like, hey, all right, João. I graduate, I think, I'm never gonna see this man again. Right? 15 years later, I'm at the hospital visiting my avó. Talking to my avó. How you doing? All of a sudden, around the corner comes a man on a wheelchair. And I hear, oh, hey, oh. I look over, there he is on the wheelchair. Hey, oh, hey, oh. Shh. Hey, I'm like, this fucking guy, man. But before I could say a word, a nurse comes around the corner, right behind him. She's like, hey, João, you smell kind of funny. It's time to change your diapers, João. And he looks up at me and I go, this is my moment. I'm like, hey, João, hey! Oh. He's like, no! He's getting wheeled away. He's like, no! He looks mad. And I won. He died several years later. And I won, right? I won. Wrong. I decide I'm going to João's funeral. I go to João's funeral, I'm paying my respects, right? We're past the, we're in church, we get past the Segundo Mistério, we're almost there. When the mass ends, I'm walking away at the cemetery, these two little boys come up to me. Hey, sir, they're pulling my shirt. I'm like, hey, how's it going, guys? They're like, oh, we're João's grandsons. I'm like, oh, that's great, how you guys doing? They're like, good, are you Taylor Amarante? We could tell by your eyebrows. I'm like, that's pretty good. Yeah, Taylor Amarante. Well, our vote told us if we ever saw you to go, oh! João got me from beyond the grave, guys. He got me.